The cameras clicked like a swarm of angry bees, their flashes piercing the night as the heavy mahogany door of the five-star hotel suite slammed open. Reporters shouted his name, security scrambled to block the view, but it was too late, the world had seen it. A man the business magazines had labeled untouchable, the billionaire every Wall Street executive envied, had been caught red-handed. His muscular frame was disheveled, his silk shirt half open, and beside him in the dim-lit suite was the young woman who wasn't his wife. The headlines would spread like wildfire before the night was over. But what no one knew, not yet, was the silent storm waiting for him at home. The kind of storm no fortune, no empire, no clever speech could contain. Because while the cameras captured his fall from grace, his wife, the woman carrying his unborn child, sat in their mansion, her trembling hands clutching divorce papers she never wanted to prepare. And she was waiting for him. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of love and redemption, then please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Royal Stories. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Now, let's dive deeper into this heart-wrenching journey. He left the hotel with his head bowed, a predator suddenly reduced to prey. Every inch of his body felt heavier than steel, not from guilt alone but from the sinking knowledge that the life he thought was secure was unraveling thread by thread. For years, he had built an empire brick by brick, fighting competitors, mastering markets, and winning every battle. But while his name commanded boardrooms, his heart had grown careless at home. The young woman beside him had been temptation packaged as comfort, whispering sweet words to a man who had been too blind to see the treasure he already had. He hadn't thought of consequences. Billionaires rarely did, but tonight, the consequence stared him down, and it terrified him more than any business rival ever could. At home, in the sprawling mansion perched above the city, his wife sat in silence. The grandeur of their estate felt empty, each chandelier and marble pillar mocking her pain. She had once walked these halls with laughter in her eyes, touching the walls as though they held promises of forever. Now she sat on the leather sofa, the documents before her, unsigned yet burning into her soul like fire. She pressed her hand against her swollen belly, feeling the faint kick of the child inside her, and tears filled her eyes. She had loved him more than herself. She had believed his promises, every word about building a family, about being her protector. And yet, he had betrayed her in the most humiliating way possible, not just in private but before the eyes of the world. The betrayal cut deeper because she wasn't just a wife, she was about to be the mother of his child. When he finally arrived, the mansion was cloaked in darkness except for the warm glow of the living room lamp. He stepped inside quietly, expecting confrontation, bracing himself for anger, for shouts that would echo through the hallways. But what met him was worse. Silence. A silence so heavy it crushed him. She was seated, her face pale, her hand resting on the divorce papers as though daring him to deny what she already knew. For the first time in years, the confident billionaire had no words. His voice deserted him. His empire, his billions, his influence, all of it was useless here. The days that followed were a battlefield without swords. His wife moved through the house like a ghost, speaking little, her gaze distant. She focused on her pregnancy, on protecting the life within her, as though she no longer expected protection from him. He tried. Everything, flowers that filled every room, letters filled with regret, gestures of kindness that once would have made her smile. But nothing pierced the shield she had wrapped around her heart. Trust, once broken, is not easily mended. Yet behind her silence, she struggled too. She had loved him fiercely, and letting go was like tearing her soul apart. Every time she touched her stomach, she wondered how she could raise their child alone. She thought of leaving, of starting fresh far away, but memories chained her. The nights they had whispered about baby names, the promises he had made while resting his hand on her belly, the way his eyes had once softened when he looked at her, it all haunted her. She wasn't just mourning betrayal, she was mourning the man she thought he was. He, on the other hand, began to change. At first, it was guilt that pushed him, but slowly it became more than that. He realized that the empire he had built meant nothing if he lost the foundation of his home. He started stepping away from his business meetings, prioritizing her health appointments, cooking meals himself though he had never held a pan before. He sat by her side when she cried silently at night, even when she turned her face away. He knew forgiveness was not his to demand, it was hers to give, and it might never come. But he also knew that if he didn't fight for her, he would regret it for the rest of his life. As months passed, her belly grew, and so did the tension between them. Yet something shifted the night she went into early labor. The storm hit suddenly, and fear replaced anger. He held her hand in the hospital, panic stripping away all his pride. He whispered prayers he had long forgotten, begging for her life and their child's life. When the baby's cry finally filled the room, his tears fell freely. In that moment, he wasn't a billionaire, a mogul, or a powerful man. He was just a father, broken and desperate to earn a second chance. Holding their daughter, his wife looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since the scandal. She saw the raw vulnerability in his eyes, the man stripped of ego, begging not with words but with the way he clutched their child as though she was the only anchor keeping him alive. Something inside her softened, though the pain remained. She didn't forgive him instantly, he didn't deserve that yet, but she allowed him the chance to prove himself. What followed wasn't easy. Rebuilding trust never is. There were nights of doubt, moments when anger resurfaced, times when she almost gave up. But there were also mornings when he woke early to cradle their daughter, when he stayed home instead of flying across the world for deals, when he listened instead of interrupting. He became a man who earned love, not demanded it. Slowly, step by step, their home began to heal. She smiled again, cautiously at first, then fully. He learned that redemption isn't about erasing the past, it's about showing through every action that the future will be different. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was real, raw, and human. If this story touched your heart, if you believe love can survive the hardest storms and that people can change if they truly fight for it, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Royal Stories. Your support means the world to us. And before you go, we have a special request. Tell us in the comments, do you believe people deserve second chances after betrayal, or do some wounds never heal? We'd love to hear your thoughts.